So back on March 12th, I tweeted this out after observing this video. In before it's actually real. Wait until this video is used as evidence that if you oppose pedophilia, that you are a Nazi. Language and violence. Several anti-drag groups, including avowed neo-Nazis, White Lives Matter, Proud Boys, Patriot Front, and non-affiliated conservative activists, protested outside a drag show today at a public park in Wadsworth, Ohio. Pedophiles get the rope, quote-unquote, chanted an armed neo-Nazi group waving swastika flags at families attending the all-ages event, FAGS, I'm assuming, go home. They said Sieg Heil, they chanted while pointing stiff arm salutes at attendees, there will be blood. I kind of predicted immediately when I saw this, which was a while ago now, that what this is about, because first of all, we've already kind of figured out that Patriot Front are just glowy CIA guys, and most of the real neo-Nazis were taken down by the FBI many years ago. They were just looking at feds, so I knew right away that this is going to be a situation of going, oh, well, if you oppose pedophilia, then it means you're a Nazi. Needless to say, called it. So it didn't take long. Now we have what appear to supposedly be Nazis showing up at these protests, and immediately trans activists have suggested that this means if you oppose them, you are a Nazi. As you can see here, TERFs, gender-critical bigots, these are your people. Good luck denying it after today. You'll notice that she isn't in any way pointing out what is in the picture, which is that they are holding up a sign that says, "Destroy pedo freaks." Even in this comment below, the Venn diagram of transphobes, homophobes, and Nazis is just one circle. Again, they're still not addressing what's on the sign. The trans activist says, if I was protesting for a cause and Nazis showed up to protest alongside me, I'd probably stop. And then, again down below, says this is likely the first moment in history that Nazis have stood on the steps of State Parliament building and been allowed to chant and salute for hours straight under police protection. This is the anti-trans conspiracy movement. The main thing that's important here is that they've been suggesting that opposing transness and all of that is immediately fascism somehow, even though there's nothing in the definition of fascism that has anything to do with it. There's nothing to stop, say, a communist country from also be opposing these things. It has nothing to do with fascism or communism at that point. And here they are, hearkening back to the rally that I pointed out earlier from the 12th, just adding this to the pile of, quote, it's not just a one-time thing. They really are on your side and agree with you a lot. So again, associating people who oppose pedophilia directly with fascism and Nazis. So here's another one. When Nazis show up on your side and start flying Nazi flags and doing Nazi salutes, it is now a Nazi rally and you have three options. 1, leave, make them leave. 3, be at a Nazi rally. To literally no one's surprise, y'all chose option 3. And then the next person says, so you were saying that Nazis are calling KJK a pedo? Were they there to protest her? But the final person pointed this out. You should be concerned that these are the type of people you are attracting. That should be a wake-up call. So again, opposing pedophilia makes you a Nazi. So just to be clear, even when somebody tries to clarify, and on whataboutism and calling us pedos, so you're cool with Nazis agreeing with you then? To which one of the guys arguing against them points out, I don't check with the Nazis to decide what to think, ever. I also don't assume every or any real person in the Pride Parade supports pedophilia, just because NAMBLA is there, marching with them. This is a, solid reply, which is, I'm not saying you're all pedos. To which this person again just says, you're doing the thing the Nazis were doing. Do with that what you will. It keeps coming back to, you can't oppose us or you're a Nazi, even though they clarify that their problem is pedophilia. Again, ignoring what was on the sign, when your cause aligns with literal Nazis, you might want to reconsider your cause. It's all supposed to be a chilling effect to suggest that if you're going to protest against us, you must be a Nazi. You stood with Nazis today. We will never forget. So, exactly as I predicted, Nazis show up at some of these rallies, and that allows them to suggest that opposing pedophilia the thing that most of them will not acknowledge was the main point of contention: makes you a Nazi. Called it. So you can probably expect to see this trend only continue. And it's interesting that because they haven't had any real Nazis show up to these things in a long time, that conveniently the glowy Nazis show up to fill the gap, to try to give these people some kind of legitimacy that you have to be a Nazi to oppose what they're doing. And going forward, I'm going to be doing some more content specifically on the links between some of the early queer theorist, Marxist movements and their connection to advocating for pedophilia. There's actually an anti-fascist book specifically that mentions that children need to be sexualized as young as possible to protect them from fascism, and that opposing children being sexual is fascism. Like that, and that's an ongoing popular author on the topic named Foucault who had written that book. And it's interesting because I know of people who have asked people on Antifa forums about that book, and you don't get an answer, and the comments are usually deleted. So like and subscribe, ring the bell. I'll be putting out some more stuff. I just kind of woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't go back to sleep. So I said, well, let me just pop out some content. Thanks for tuning in, folks.